Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market. But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So y'all, we're looking at the VIX, and as you can see, we've been trading in this zone here, right? So I always start with the gathering spot. Where are, and then I try to identify my trouble places, right? So as of right now, this is our gathering spot. Price has been consolidating or in this area, right? So now, if we should break under this level back to the downside, we could possibly find support here at the 1521. And if we lose that level of support, we can find support around 1513. If we lose that 1513, we could possibly come back to 1507, 1499, and again down here at 1491. Now, to the upside, what's interesting is that was a small, it's a tight range, right? So back to the upside, if by chance we break back above this level I have marked at 1536, we could possibly have trouble here at this 50 EMA, which is around 1538. And if we break that level, we could possibly have trouble at 1562 or 1563, and if we break that level, 1579. Now, if we break the 1579 area for the VIX, we can come back to the 1601 area. Now, the more I look at the VIX only because it kind of gives me an idea of what's going on with the SPY. Now, the SPY is definitely interesting today, right? So again, I like to, find my gathering spot, and as of right now, price is pretty much was trading in this zone for a while. If we look at it, okay, let me get that right. So here, so if we look at it, price actually traded here for a while. That is my gathering spot. Most will call it consolidation, whatever works for you, right? So now we broke through that level of resistance at the $600.14, which is interesting that we closed at $598.19. Let's say that, right? So back to the upside, it looks like we're breaking back to the upside. We're at highs, so we have to be careful at this point and let it show you what it wants to do, right? Because we can have a rejection and come all the way down. There's a big gap, in my opinion, from this 50 EMA down to this 200 EMA on this 30-minute chart. Just something to think about, right? So where are the trouble places for the SPY? We made a high of $600.98. Looked like we got rejected. There was some sellers in that area, a second time sellers in that area. So we definitely need to watch this area. Is it going to make a new high? I would like to see, if I believe it's going to go to the upside, it will definitely need to make a new high above the $600.98 and, close above that, right? So to the downside, let's look at the trouble places to the downside. Under this level of $600.14, we have a lot of support in this area, which I would say under the ATR trailing stop, which is $599.46. So I'm going to set my alert under that $599.46 area just to let me know that, the SPY has broken through some layers of support. So I would definitely watch under the $599.46 to the downside, $598.65, $598.29, $598.71, $595.26. If we should break that, $594.17, and if we break the $594.17, $592.64, and right where this 200 EMA is, I have $591.56. The 200 EMA is at $591.71. So those are trouble places as of right now for the SPY. Again, I say in the market anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. So if you trade the SPY today, trade carefully. Now, Tesla is Tesla. I say that often. Tesla closed at 321.22. This was our gathering spot here. We traded in this zone only to jump back to this upside. But as you can see right here, we're going to mark that gathering spot from here to about here. That's where our price has been. Even though we have a wick up at the top, price still came back and traded. Let's see if I can traded in this area here. Let's see if I can make that a little bit. There we are. Price came back and still traded in this area for Tesla. So that's something that we need to be mindful of. Yes, it did break up to this point, but look where the body of the candle is. I always pay very close attention to that. So to the upside, Tesla would need to break back above the 344.29, back to the upside above, let's see, above the high of this candle here, which is around 345.50, 346.44. If we break the 346.44, Tesla can keep on climbing. Now, to the downside is what I'm interested in as of now, because we've gapped up so much today does not mean, let me clear that, does not mean we cannot continue climbing. So To the downside for Tesla, I would definitely watch under the 342.15, under that 340.74. If we should lose that level, 330, where did I get 390? 330.12. If we break through the 330.12 area, we can find support here at 328.34. Again at 325.26, which brings us, if we lose that 325.26, it brings us back to the gathering spot. It would not surprise me to see Tesla back in this zone, and that's from the 325.26 area down to the 320.30. It would not surprise me to see us back at that place. And if we lose that 319 or 320.30 area, we could very well find support here at 314.90. So if you trade Tesla today, it's already gapped up pre-market, so there's going to be a gap to the downside that needs to be filled. Not saying that could happen today. In the market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, and Tesla normally exceeds its ATR and does what it does, right? So trade carefully today. Let's look at NVDA just to see where we are. NVIDIA closed at 147.63, and it looks as if this is our gathering spot. Let's see. Immediately, my eye went to this area here. We broke down under that, found support, it looks like here at this ATR trail and stop at the 146.46. I would definitely watch this area because we could come back to that. Found support here, went back to the upside only to get rejected at this ATR trail and stop. So we definitely need to watch this area here, right? So it would need to break back above 148.87 to continue back to the upside. Above 148.87, if we break past that area, we could have trouble at 149.17. If we break the 149.17 for NVIDIA, 149.51 is going to be possibly a trouble place. Above the 149.51, we could possibly have trouble at 149.79, 149.95. Those are going to be trouble places for NVIDIA to the upside. Now, back to the downside, it would need to get under all of the moving averages here, which is around, I would say, under the 147.38 area for NVIDIA. If we should come back down to the 137.38 area, we can possibly find support at 147. Did I say 147.30? Yes, 147.38. If we lose that area, 147.10. If we lose 147.10, 146.85. If we lose 146.85, we can come back to the 146.42. And if we lose the 146.42, we have 145.80 down to 145.38, which is a gathering spot. So again, it wouldn't surprise me to come back to this level, although this here is a gathering spot also. So if you trade NVIDIA today, those are places to the upside that I will watch for resistance, and places to the downside that I will watch for support. Again, I say so often, y'all, anything is possible, so trade carefully, set your stop losses, and once it goes against your why, get out. I say live to trade another day, right? So we're now looking at AMD. AMD closed at 147.95. As you can see, we bounced off of this support here, only to, we're back, trying to move back to the upside. So where are the trouble places as of right now? I would say AMD need to get back above 148.23. We have some resistance in this area here. So back above 148.23, we could possibly have trouble at 148.55. Again at 148.79. If we break the 148.79, I would look around the 149.10. We break the 149.10, it brings us close to the ATR trail and stop at 149.31. Now, if we should break this 149.31, and as you can see, that was a range, a gathering spot for us here. 149.31. If we should break that level, then we could possibly come back to 149.62. Those are going to be resistance areas for AMD to the upside, right? So now to the downside, if we get back under this level here of 147.60, we could very well find support here at 147.33. If we should lose that area, 147.11. If we should lose that 147.10 or 147.11 area, we can come back to 146.92. If we lose the 146.92, we can find support down here at 146.57. If we break the 146.57, we can come back to 146.21. Those are going to be support and resistance areas for AMD. Now, I wanted to add Mara to my list. I don't know if see if we can add Mara to the list, because Bitcoin, that is not Mara, because Bitcoin is up today. And one of the things that we have to learn, let's see if we can, one of the things that we have to learn is to find the things, even though we may not trade Bitcoin, how can we benefit from Bitcoin, and that's by trading your things that benefit from that. Mara and Coinbase is one of those, right? So Mara made a high of $23.50, as we can see here. Again, I try to go to the gathering spot, this was a level of a gathering spot. Price could very well come back to this area. Here's another level here. Price could very well, if we lose this area of support here, we can come back down to the ATR trailing stop. So where are the trouble places? Let's say that for Mara. Now, if by chance we lose this area of support at 22.16, we can come back down to 21.54, 21.18. If we lose the 21.18, $20.13 as of right now. If we lose that area, 19.58. If we break the 19.58 area for Mara, 19.32. And if we break the 19.32, we can come back to 19.12, which is a gathering spot. This is our zone that we were trading in. So if by chance we lose those areas, those are places to the downside that I will watch. Now, back to the upside, and we need to get back above 22.34. If we break that level, we can possibly find resistance at 22.88 and again at 23.51. Those are places for Mara that I would watch to the upside and to the downside. Now, we do have a few inside day candles, and Amazon is an inside day candle, and I normally give the trigger, meaning if it breaks through this, then this is a possible target. We have already broken through that trigger pre-market, so that's interesting, right? So above 210.01 gives us a target of 212.25. Under 207.42 gives us a downside target of 207.07. So if you trade Amazon today, it is an inside day candle. Trade carefully. And Delta Airlines is also an inside day candle. If by chance, we've already broken through that trigger pre-market. So it seems 61.77 was the trigger. We've made a high of 61.95. The target for DAL or Delta is 62.49. So to the downside, if we break under $60.50, we have a downside target of, let's see, $60.41. So if you trade Delta Airlines, it is an inside day candle today. So the market should be interesting today, y'all. I say trade carefully. Meta is an inside day candle above 593.06. We have an upside target of 595.27. To the downside, under 584.46, we have a downside target here of 575.25. So Meta is an inside day candle, as Microsoft is also an inside day candle. Above 426.57 gives us an upside target of 427.05. If by chance we break under this level of 421.80, we have a downside target of 419.70. So if you trade any of these, they are inside day candles. I say trade carefully, right? So again, this is the SPY. It looks like we're still having trouble at that $600.98. We made a high of 601. So it looks like we've gotten rejected and come back down. As of right now, we definitely need to watch this area under the $600.14 today. So y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very productive day. Set your stop losses, and once it goes against your why, get out. I say that often. Profitable and productive day to everyone. And if you could, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because we learn and we grow together. So until next time, y'all, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.